Good evening. I'd like to welcome all who tuned in to another edition of Treasures. This treasure is number 47, and the title is very different. It's called Sawed in Two. Yes, you heard me correctly. Today's treasure 47 is about a great prophet from the Old Testament, and you'll recognize his name. His name is Isaiah. And we've talked many times how important names are in the Bible. And Isaiah's name means the Lord is salvation. So if you've read the book of Isaiah, he talks about salvation in the Old Testament. That's powerful. So the Bible doesn't specify how Isaiah died, but this verse in the Bible may give us a hint. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 37 in the NIV reads this way: They, the prophets, were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. Think about some of the prophets or people who call themselves prophets today. They're not running around destitute or in goatskins or in sheepskins, are they? Food for thought. This verse in Hebrews, it has always intrigued me, so I decided to search out this treasure. According to some extra biblical books that are non-canonized, that means they're not in our Bible, the sources, one of the unnamed persons sawed in two was Isaiah the prophet. Isaiah was a prophet under the following kings of Judah during his 55-60-year prophetic ministry. The first one's name was Jotham, Ahaz, not Ahab, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. In my research from ancient Jewish Christian traditions suggests that Isaiah was martyred by King Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah. Remember, Hezekiah was a good king. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. But his son was wicked to the core. According to the tradition, Isaiah was tied inside a sack, listen to this, placed within a hollow of a tree trunk, and then sawed in two. This story traces back to the first century, again, non-canonized books. And the one that I did research, I found it was called The Ascension of Isaiah, a book which claims to tell the story of Isaiah's death. I'd like to say this, the book of Jasher, a lot of you are familiar with this book if you study the Word of God. It's mentioned in the Bible in Joshua and 2 Samuel. Again, it's a non-canonized book also, but it does give historical accounts in the Bible. Jasher, the word Jasher in Hebrew is pronounced, they don't pronounce the J, it would be Yasher. In Hebrew means, listen to this, upright or correct record. And the most important value of this book is the large quantity of additional detail it gives to various accounts in the Old Testament. It contains more detail about the commencement of the flood, when it started, and things that happened during the flood. It's very interesting. I suggest you get this book and read it. Again, it's not part of the Bible, but it has historical facts that line up with the Bible. So with that said, let us move into the material I found that was available regarding Isaiah's death. According to the account in the Ascension of Isaiah, prophecies that King Hezekiah's wicked son Manasseh would torture and kill him and renounce the commands and precepts that Hezekiah had previously delivered. Remember, Hezekiah listened to Yahweh God and followed what he said to do. And everything he did was right in the eyes of the Lord. And now his son takes over and just demolishes all the things that Hezekiah did that were right in the eyes of the Lord. Not a good choice. He was in rebellion against God. He said, oh, I'm not going to follow your ways. I'm going to do what I think is right in my own eyes. Does that sound familiar today? So after Hezekiah's death, King Manasseh devotes himself to serving Hasatan. In Hebrew means the sainted. The saint. And Isaiah flees to the mountains of Bethlehem along with Ananias, Joel, and Habakkuk, and other faithful servants of Yahweh. So in the story, a man named Belkira, a middleman between Satan and the ungodly lovers of the world, accuses Isaiah of stirring up trouble against King Manasseh. Let's pause here for a moment. Obviously, he's lying. He just preached the truth, just like someone else we know, Yeshua Jesus, and they lied about him. Remember? That's what got him crucified. Think about it. So Belkira hates Isaiah because of his significant prophecies. And listen to what he hates. The prophecies of salvation through the coming Messiah. Remember I mentioned that he talks about salvation in the book of Isaiah? My wife and I are studying that right now. It's highly recommended reading material and study material for you. So Manasseh has Isaiah arrested and then cut in two with a wooden saw. The account in the Ascension of Isaiah influenced other early Jewish and Christian writings. According to the Talmud, a collection of Jewish texts that record the oral tradition of the early rabbis, Isaiah hid inside a cedar tree and then was sawed in two by King Manasseh. One more account is Tertullian and early Christian apologetic Justin Martyr. Now, these are considered early church fathers. Both mentioned the legend of Isaiah's death in their writings, with Justin Martyr specifying that Isaiah was actually cut in two with a wooden saw. And that was a dialogue with Trypho, Trypho 120. So, in closing, I just want to say this. That great prophet that Yahweh used in a mighty way died, as these ancient accounts reveal, but there's no way to verify that for sure. The Bible does not give us any evidence that Isaiah even lived into the reign of King Manasseh, nor does it tell us when and how Isaiah died. And until we get to heaven, when all mysteries will be revealed, I still think that this is a treasure for food for thought. Those prophets, they went through living hell to serve the Lord. They really did. And we're so blessed that we live right now anyway, in a nation where we can preach and teach the truth in love. Yes, we may be mocked and scoffed, but I haven't heard about anybody being sawed in two. Have you? So until we meet again, may the Lord bless you and keep you.